Hey Michael, so a couple months ago, I came to the realization that I am right and everybody else is wrong. I've been busy working. Andrew Gooden, Edward Burbach, David Atchu, Felix Shelberg, Scott Kramer, Jarvis Johnson. What do all these guys have in common? They all hate my food. According to reports on the current young people are sad. See, we're just a teensy bit more depressed than usual. And according to some very smart guys on the internet, my key to happiness is to get rid of this thing. So I will retake control of my life, no matter how it costs me. I'm scared. No matter how. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up here. But to get here, we have to go back to the day when it all began.
An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? And we are calling it iPhone. The term new technology has meant many different things in the past few years, but for anyone born in my generation, the first thing that comes to your mind is the phone. I use my phone for everything, from my alarm to my notebook, my shopping list, my wallet, my girlfriend. And they come in so many different varieties. You have your flippies, your foldies, the ones that are so small they live on your wrist, the ones that are so big they live on your fridge. If you can't think of a way to get a phone-like device to do something that we used to do manually, it already exists. This thing is great, yet the one thing that all these creators keep talking about is how much they hate it. Now, if you're here on this channel, chances are you probably watch videos that at least one of these guys make. And I think you agree that one of the things that ties these guys all together is their authenticity. So as somebody trying to become the best version of myself, I love it when they go on these random rants or give these random segments of life advice. But recently, there's been this anti-technology segment that I just can't wrap my head around. I know it's ironic coming from me, because I just made that whole video about ChatGPT, but like we all know, I am probably the best person to ever live. I am simply peak humanity, and I love my phone. I love getting a buzzer and checking it, listening to like a playlist on a run, recording to reactions of myself, reacting to myself. I even love the things that most people hate, like phone calls and annoying alerts. What could these guys possibly be on? Eddie stopped using his phone. David says we should pay for social media. PewDiePie is de-Googling. I mean, even Paul stopped using AI. Mike stopped listening to music on streaming. His name is literally Mike. It got to a point where whenever I heard one of these guys talking about technology or how much they hate some aspects of the internet, the first thought that came to my head is that it's probably just a skill issue. I mean, how couldn't you love this? And don't start with the whole addiction angle. Look, I can stop using this whenever I want to. I just don't want to, and I can stop whenever I want to. Okay? I know myself. I can do whatever I want when I want to. At least that's what I thought. Until sometime last month, I had a moment where I was sitting outside the library and I saw this person and I really wanted to ask them out. You know, they seemed like such a nice human being. Now, I've always thought of myself as confident, yet instead of doing something, I just sat there, staring like a fucking statue. I've never felt so much like a creep at any other point in my life. I had a full-on identity crisis. This is something I can do, yet I didn't do it. This isn't something about like, no, I lied. Non-speaking. It wasn't me. It's all in your mind. Stop being stupid, pa. If I set my mind to something, I will do it. This is not above me. It's impossible to get above. All these guys, they are wrong. Not using your phone isn't this magical fix. They're just coping, and I can prove it. I will prove it. I can do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm going to stop using my phone to prove two things. First, that I can, because I am not addicted. And second, that they're all wrong. I mean, they have to be wrong, right? Like, how hard could it be? No YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. Psst, I can do that in my sleep. I don't think I fully thought this through.
I initially wasn't going to make a video about this whole experience, but then sometime last month, a friend of mine, Nana Kofi, asked me when my video about this whole thing was gonna come out. And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. If I'm gonna torture myself for a whole month, I might as well make it worth it. Because, oh my, this experiment was torture.
I've never cried from these experiments before. We'll get it. I did a little more than just giving up my phone. I knew that if I simply stopped using one device, I'll go on to the next. So first, no smartphone. I still had a phone, but not like one that I could only use to make calls and, send normal text messages, which if you don't live in Ghana, you're better off sending your messages by like a raven, by a fucking bird. Sorry. Than normal text message. I stopped using any fancy text, so that meant no watch, no AirPods. Basically, no sidekick technology. But that also meant things like no video games, no MasterCard, alarms, reminders, calendars, no Uber, Spotify, Google, ChatGPT, and especially no social media. Basically, I was living like how my parents did. I'm not gonna lie, it was initially much harder than I thought. I thought going straight cold turkey would be a terrible idea, so I did like a test run period where I had restricted access to some app for the 3 days leading up to the challenge so that I could slowly phase the phone out of my life. And I know on paper, this seems like it makes a lot of sense, but all it did was make me pay more attention to all the things that I am about to miss. From day one, nothing was how I imagined it to be. It's not like the world wasn't brighter or like any of those things, but something was certainly different. There's something that kept coming back to me during this challenge. The idea that I am better than everybody else. I had a class at 7:30 in the morning, and right as we finished, when we stepped out, every single person was staring at their phones. I wish I had footage of this so I could explain how unnerving it felt. Like, I was genuinely shocked. There was about 100 of us at 9 in the morning. What could you be possibly checking? During the first week, although life wasn't substantially better, it was definitely different in a much more tiring way. And I'll say that I figured out why like later on in the challenge, but at this point I hadn't planned for this. The only thought on my mind at any point in time was probably school or food. I came back to the Uber app after like 3 days. That was the first impulse I gave into, because for some reason the free public transport around my school stopped functioning right as I started this challenge, because fuck me. And after 3 days of not having any reminders to take my exercise book or some assignments, my legs couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't handle walking back and forth for I gave into Uber, I'm sorry. But even then, while I had Uber, things still weren't complete because I didn't have the greatest tool of all, Google Maps. I don't know how many of you went to schools with large campuses, but without the way where you're going beforehand, it's basically impossible to get from one place to another in the shortest time possible. And I know what most of you are thinking, you're pro-social, why didn't you just ask somebody? What you all forget is that while I was doing the challenge, the rest of the world wasn't. Every single person I would ask for help would just offer to give me their phone to use Google Maps. And like, that would be against the whole point of the challenge, so I couldn't do that. And after having to explain to the fifth person that I couldn't use Google Maps for science, I decided that I'll just breathe this one out. So yeah, I would say my legs did more exercise in those 3 days than I've ever done in my entire life. And the most annoying part of it was that my watch recorded the data for none of it. So yeah, week one, not the greatest week of my life, but I mean, it could have been so much worse with how little I knew that was going on. I feel like it was a pretty positive effect. I'd say like a solid 7 over 10, 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 7 over 10.
Oh, did I hear you, Reggie?
This challenge was hard, and I couldn't have made it without the awesome support of my wonderful friends. And I mean, you've seen this channel's name, Pie and Friends. He said the name of this channel. So yeah, for this week's special category, we have the friend of the week. The friend who inspired my week the most helpful, most collaborative, most loving. And for week one, drum roll please. I need my glasses.
Who is this supposed to be?
It's a tie. First, Akwesi, he was helping me manage a lot behind the scenes without me, participating because I didn't have a phone. I literally could not have made it a single day of this challenge without him. And then we have Valerie. Valerie was my life. Sorry. Yeah, Valerie. Valerie was one of the first people I spoke to about doing this, and she was so loving and supportive. Actually, Valerie is one of the first friends I spoke to about YouTube in the first place, and without her, this video wouldn't exist. So, thank you. I love you guys. Okay. Bye-bye. This week was actually not that bad. I picked up some new hobbies, journaling, painting, drawing. Like, I'm sorry that was a lie. This week was actually this week was. I've never been more encouraged to become a better Christian than I was this week, because this week was hell and I do not want to relive it. There came a point where I had to ask myself, like, why am I here? Just to suffer every week to keep myself entertained. I had a strict hour block from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. where I was allowed to watch 3 episodes of Modern Family a week. It was almost like nightly television from when I was a kid. Ironically, I happened to watch this episode just before I started the challenge. And Delphi parents tell their kids that whoever is able to stop using their phone for as long as the parents gets whatever they want. This is what the mom, Claire, had to say about everything.
The contest was hard.
Reservations?
Even though we had sworn off the internet, the rest of the world hadn't.
This fact, okay, like, I updated all my socials and like all my professional spaces and all that to let people know that I would be away for a certain amount of time, and that if they needed to reach me, they could use these alternative paths. But I still missed so many important messages because people just assumed that I would be back. That's one negative thing about this whole social media fasting nowadays, because there's no sense of a permanence, so people just assume that you will be back by a certain amount of time. It creates this issue where they think that even if you haven't seen their message immediately, you will eventually get to it once you're back. And that's like kind of against the whole point. The Vlog Brothers made a video about how we're not addicted to content, we are starving for information. It's great, I'll link it like in the description. But I think the main thing I struggled with this week wasn't necessarily missing my phone. I was fine on that front. I had a physical flashlight now, a calendar, and notebook. Like, although having a phone is very useful, I began to realize that like all these things we use the phone for, there's like physical versions of them. You can just use them in real life. Like, it's not that much of a hassle for me to have to catch the shuttle over ordering an Uber. Yet in my heart, it feels like one. I think it comes down to the thing where, you know, you're angry at something, but you can't properly articulate that for whatever reason. So subconsciously, you pretend like you're really angry about something else. Like, you don't really care that your boyfriend forgot your anniversary. You get it, he's been busy, but you're just upset that he hasn't been spending as much time with you recently. So you pretend it's all about the anniversary, when you couldn't really care less about that anyway. I think that the disdain I felt in the time of this whole experiment was more to do with my growing frustration on just how much information I was missing out on. Like, I didn't have the internet. I had no idea what was going on around me or like in the world. I wouldn't hear of things unless someone told me. And to me, it was very frustrating that I could be potentially manipulated into, you know, believing something or taking some point of view because I didn't have access to all of the facts. I gave it to Spotify after week 2 because I just needed a W so bad. So I started listening to my downloaded music again. I know, what a pussy, pa. Couldn't even go 2 weeks without Spotify. 2 weeks. He's nothing like me. Thank you. Now, for the special category for this week, sorry, I forgot to put the time back into. For the special category for this week, we have here. This week was pretty simple. I mean, there was just a clear winner for the week. It was me. I'm joking. The friend of the week was Wellam. I mean, Wellam is awesome. There was like a day where I spoke to Wellam for 3 hours non-stop just because I didn't have the internet. And the lack of like human connection was getting to me. She was so supportive. There was also this W moment where we were searching for something in her room and we needed a flashlight, and I instinctively reached into my pocket to try and get my phone, right? And then we both realized that I'd naturally forgotten my phone behind. Like, this was so revolutionary for me. I don't think I could have ever imagined the future where I could leave my room without my phone, and yet this was like my life. I didn't need this thing anymore. It was such a full circle moment, and it wouldn't have happened without it. So thank you, Willam. This challenge, I think this challenge might actually be working.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I'm supposed to change your mind that everything's fine?
Yeah, I think everything's fine.
Like in the world? No, you can't, right?
You agree with me that everything is fine?
I mean, I'm kind of here with that. I mean, I've been ignoring everything. So as far as I'm concerned.
Whenever I have something I think about that makes me distressed, I just stop thinking about it.
No, I totally agree with that sentiment.
Have you heard about what's going on? That's not very fine.
Why not?
Because
maybe just stop thinking about it. The only thing I think is not fine is people getting stressed out about like stuff that doesn't matter. Yeah, like, you know, if they just stopped caring about it, then they'd be fine.
I really wanted to quit before this week, but I'm so glad that I didn't because I think this week is what changed this challenge from being just another one of past things to being one of the most impactful things I've ever done. Because it was during this week that for the first time since starting this challenge, I realized that
I don't want to go back. Having a dumb phone was amazing. I know it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but it's because it's the truth. I thought all these guys were wrong about how much better your life gets without all this, and I hate to say it, but they were right.
the clouds were truly fluffier, the sky was clearer, the grass was greener.
I know that Drake clip from earlier was mostly satire, but it has never felt so true. So much of what's on the internet nowadays is about everything that's bad in the world. And while I do think it's important to know these things, to, be aware, the quote, ignorance is bliss, had never been more true to me. It's not that I didn't care about what was going on in the world around me. I literally couldn't care because I had no idea what was happening. I'll say though that one part of this challenge that no one really mentions, like yeah, they all talk about how your emotions get brighter and you're happier and like all of that. But no one mentions that while my emotions were brighter and sharper and all that, like all the shit from real life was still there. And without all the distractions that come from the internet, that shit began to smell. It's like the anger and the hatred that I had for all of the news and all the things happening around the world left there and concentrated into enmity for those around me. I've never noticed how fucking stupid human beings can be. I had a couple altercations with my roommates then. I'll leave like a couple screenshots on the screen because I don't think I can say what I want to say without getting demonetized. Like, this is a heavily redacted, true, impulsive thought I sent to my friend in the middle of the night. Like, holy fucking shit, I must have crashed out at least 5 times during this challenge. But ignoring that I'm focusing on the positives, I literally wanted to love everyone. I haven't been more compelled to donate to random causes at any point in my life, like more than I was during this period. I genuinely felt like I'd cracked the code, and it was at this moment that I realized that I don't want to go back. Week 4, I went back. Whoa. Slow down there, buddy. We haven't even given
Paul, wrap it the fuck up!
Gee. This week's award goes to Perry. Perry reached out to me during this weekend and I had a lot of fun with him. We spoke on the phone for like an hour. So yeah, thank you Perry for that. Honorable mention to my but yeah, I had a blast with them this week. Before we get into week 4, I just want to say that I did not plan on not using my AirPods during this challenge. And almost like the universe was like trying to egg me on, I mysteriously misplaced them right as I was starting. And I only found them around the end of week 3. So you would think that with just 1 week left, and after all the lessons I had learned, I would brave it out and complete the whole challenge without my AirPods. Somehow, in one way, week 4 was a week of reminiscing. I just remember going for classes with a huge grin on my face because I knew in my heart that in just a few days, I would get my phone back. And I know it seems contradictory because I just mentioned how much better my life was without my phone. But without a feedback of constant communication with all my friends who are scattered like all over the world, it just drained me because I wanted to interact with people that I could call my friends. But I didn't want to put in all the effort to get to know people well enough to become my friends. This challenge is what forced me to come out of my shell for my first year because during that month, I had to sign up myself into becoming more friendly with those around me. And from that, I've met so many lovely people in my community. That's just something that wouldn't have happened if I had my phone. One thing I realized, and this is something that I miss even now, is that time just didn't seem to matter as much anymore. I felt like I was constantly moving at my own pace because first, I never knew the actual time because I don't have a normal watch. And without social media scrolling for so many hours in the day, there was just always so much time to do everything. So I never felt like I would actually be late for anything. As this challenge ended, I realized that I'd gone from being constantly addicted to my phone to being addicted to my friends, or more constantly hanging out with my friends. And I think that's still an issue I have to work through, but in a sense it feels like going from cigars to nicotine patches. Neither is probably ideal, but one is definitely a lot more safer. But the friend of the week for week 4, sorry, I'm not gonna do any skits or anything. I have to give it to Kester, he's amazing. If he didn't start this challenge, I probably never would even be having this conversation in the first place. And if he hadn't done something like this in the past, I wouldn't be doing it also. So yeah. Surprise, big! Oh, you didn't see that coming. My script says I should freestyle from here, so I was gonna mention a few people. Tishi is basically my channel manager on this point. Like, he's the reason why I keep doing this thing. Every single time I'm like, I don't want to keep doing YouTube, and I'm start ranting and all that. He's the one who's always there. He's always checking up on my videos, always like learning all the things I don't. Thank you, teacher. I love you. Diane, Michael, my sisters, Shane, Erefua, Joanne. In the beginning, especially, Joanne was like the reason why this thing being happened. I would say Joanne and Kelly, because they are the ones who told me that this could actually be what it is now. So thank you guys. I love you so much. Yeah. It's been a while since I planned on making this video, and since then, a lot of things have changed. I've seen a couple videos teaching people how to do something similar. I saw a hand green app, Focus Friend. It's great, like you can install it. A lot of these videos are great, these apps and things but the issue that I found for me is it all works in the short term, whether it's a week or a month. With all these videos, even those who lasted a year, despite how good it felt and how productive they were and all that, we all came back. It's kind of sad to realize that we all come back, because at the end of the day, I still do love my phone, and I think you do too. I think what I hated was all the psychological and social pressure that having a phone makes you available to, global village and all. And all that pressure is still there in the real world. Using the phone makes it easier to access, but I never actually hated the phone. I watched the David Ashu video about hearing loss, and I never thought a YouTuber would be able to help me change the way I lived my life. But after I watched that video, I actually became more particular about the way I use my AirPods and all that. And I've been thinking for this video, what do I want to inspire? Obviously, more people to do this challenge, right? But I don't feel good telling you to do something that I don't think works. So I'm not gonna say you should stop using your phone for, that purpose, but I do think everyone should still at least try this thing out. Not necessarily so you can give up on your phone, but so that you can see the ways in which it's negatively affecting your life. And then when you do come back, you can restructure your life around that, because I don't think this thing is going anywhere. I think we all like it too much. I think it's too useful to us. So the best that we can do is just keep more of the good stuff and get rid of the bad stuff. The things you do become the life you lived. And nowadays, more and more, the things that we do happen on our phones. So if every time we open up our phones we are being angry or just wasting time slop talking, I don't think that's a very fulfilling way of living life. And I think most of you would agree too. So yeah. But you can put some fireworks on the screen. Sorry, Paul. But final surprise at the end. Yeah, I just want to say, Diane. Woo! Clap for Diane. I would love if you made it. I really would love it if every single one of you, or some of you at least, could type something nice about Diane. She's an amazing friend. She wasn't a friend of the week at any point here, but honestly, I feel like she might have been friend of the year, which is amazing. So thank you, Diane. I love you. I know you probably watched to the end. If you didn't, that sucks for you. But yeah, I'm grateful. I don't know, give me some advice. It's hard out here. It's hard. I don't know what to do. But yeah, toodles.